Why people in their 50s who have done the work feel more stuck than ever. When restlessness becomes wisdom, not a problem to solve. By Shiva Rawat. When does the healing finish? Have you thought about it? Does one wake up one day and go, I am healed? Met anyone like that? I haven't. I've been seeing this pattern more and more, especially in people in their 50s who've done the work. They've survived life's challenges, outlasted pressure at work, navigated family storms. And yet, something feels unfinished. They're not falling apart, they're functional, reliable, respected. But there's a restlessness that won't go away, a sense that time is passing and something important is being left undone. It's like they've reached the top of the hill, and instead of peace, there's a quiet flatness. Not sadness, just the absence of aliveness. If you're in your 30s, this feeling might only just be taking shape, the faint sense that something's off, even when life looks stable from the outside. If you're older, it may have settled in like background noise. Either way, you'll know if this is about you. This letter is not for people who use healing to hide, to avoid conflict, delay decisions, stay small. And it's definitely not for people managing real mental health challenges. This is for the ones who know how to handle hard conversations, pressure, conflict. If your career is established, your life is relatively stable, you've pushed through wave after wave. And yet here you are, at the peak, still feeling something's off. If this resonates, you might feel like you're not broken, but something still feels incomplete. The old goals don't excite you. New ones haven't shown up. That's because healing was never the destination. It was only supposed to clear the debris, to restore enough stability so you could actually live, lead, create, contribute. But somewhere along the way, healing became the destination. The identity. Always one more practice, one more retreat, one more wound to process. You kept working on yourself while quietly avoiding the bigger question. What might become possible if you use these tools for expansion rather than just regulation? Using warrior tools to stay comfortable. Most people I meet at this stage use their inner work the same way. To stay comfortable. To avoid activation. To keep things peaceful. They've turned warrior tools into protection gear. The breath that was meant to fuel courage gets used to numb fear. The awareness that was meant to sharpen choice becomes justification for retreat. The practices designed to prepare you for fire, used for staying lukewarm. It's not healing anymore. It's containment. And that's why something feels off. While you're regulating your way through another quiet year. Meanwhile, others without any of these inner tools are stepping into the very challenges that might energize you. They don't meditate. They don't breathe right. They don't know what polyvagal means. But they step into pressure, and pressure selects them. These were never sedation tools. They were initiation tools. Tools for clarity, for truth in the face of fear, for action that cuts through noise, for dharma, the quiet cost. You might tell yourself the restlessness doesn't matter, that you're past needing to build or create or push boundaries. But what if that restlessness is actually wisdom? What if it's your system saying, I have more capacity now than I'm using, and time is finite? If you hesitate to speak your mind to avoid conflict, then feel haunted later. Say yes when you want to say no, harmony over honesty. Filter your words in real conversations, then feel like you weren't really there. Delay launching what you care about, even though it wakes you up at night. Feel calm outside but restless inside, like something's being wasted. Reduce your vision to match your energy instead of rising to meet your potential. Then let's be honest. If this restlessness is real, every year matters more. The question isn't whether you should feel restless, you already do. The question is what that restlessness is telling you about how to spend those years. You're using the same tools the Buddha used to awaken. You've built capacity most people would kill for. But instead of stepping into fire, you're using it to keep warm. But here's what's also true. All that work you've done, it wasn't wasted. Those tools you've developed, they're exactly what you need. You just need to remember what they were actually for. Reclaiming your shift. You didn't spend years building this inner capacity just to manage symptoms. You built it to hold more life, more intensity, more truth, more responsibility, more creation. This is the pivot most people miss. They get strong enough to hold pressure, then build a life that avoids it. They train for expansion, and then use it to shrink. But your system is ready. You've done the work. You just forgot what it was for. Now is the time to return to the edge. Not recklessly, not for validation, but because you finally have the nervous system to lead well. To love deeply, to create boldly. You've never been more qualified to build something that matters. You have resources your younger self could only dream of. Financial, emotional, intellectual, networks, perspective, the ability to see through bullshit, the wisdom to know what actually works. This isn't about proving yourself anymore. It's not about impressing anyone or climbing ladders for the sake of climbing. This isn't about proving anything. It's about stewardship of the capacity you've built, the wisdom you've gained, the time you have left to contribute something that only comes from your particular journey.